Hello guys, it is that Panda God. I'm here again with another video, and today we are looking at some more Island Raid, and this is a continuation of day one as it is not ended. You can kind of see it from the date in the top corner of the video. You can kind of follow along by actually looking at that. It's still the 23rd there, and yeah, I mean the freaking dude. I don't know how it's not day two yet. I feel like the amount of footage I went through is kind of lengthy. If you guys just know how much I speed up, because it's like I run a lot of 10 times plus footage, especially on tower fights, because I don't want it to be boring, and I know that it can be a bit repetitive when all you see is like tower fights. I try not to like, over length like a tower fight. Like I try to just speed it up like crazy. But I also, for fighting around the tower, I try to slow down the speed so it's not like the marches are flashing through the screen. It's hard, guys, okay? It's hard to try to make it appealing but not annoying. So we do end up putting pressure on BTW towers here. You'll see a lot of swarms, and we do manage to pop some. But I think the biggest issue from pushing them through middle is this, right? Not only do they have like ANCS support, like be it, rallying towers on us or whatever, they can also just field support as it's a lot closer. There's also just the fact that popping through like, pretty strong alliance is able to just fill these with like T6, etc. It's just really hard, and like even if we're running swarms like this, even if we do manage to burn this thing, we have to burn it, I would say, at least 3 times, because there's one repair. They're going to end up repairing it. They're going to fill the thing back up, and they're going to be even more prepared for the next swarm. Then overall, you have to have field control. You have to swarm this thing down multiple times, because obviously a rally isn't just going to do it by itself. Because if you're just rallying a tower, like the best you can do really against obviously an alliance like this is just try to trade really well, right? But it's just going to be lengthy. You kind of have to get swarms in a bracket like this, or else you're not popping these towers for freaking hours, basically. But you guys get the point, right? We would need field control for so and so long, and it's just like impossible to field control in a situation where we have, maybe multiple alliances kind of putting pressure there, especially with like field control. That's why it's even more vital that we do push them from their flank, and that's what you'll end up seeing, and it worked out perfectly, especially being that we took their village instead of having to maybe burn down a tower, which would have been more preferable, or for them at least, because it would have given them ample time to actually react. Whereas a village, we could, perform a swarm on it as long as we have field control and stuff. It instantly disconnects all the territory as long as there's like no towers built around it. But you guys get the point, right? Like it's just really hard to push these guys through mid, and that's why it's even more preferable to actually go around towards their flank and kind of just put pressure there. And surprisingly, they didn't actually build towers to protect their village, and we just directly snatched it, which was crazy to me. I don't know if they ran out of building material or if they just thought they could hold it. I don't know. But yeah, you see some ANCS swarms on our towers. You'll see quite a few of those this video because, they were putting a lot of pressure on our towers the first day or two. And I think they just ended up giving up after, kind of being unable to actually push us back. Because I think they do pop one burn on this tower here. And then we actually have to tighten defenses around it because we cannot lose this tower or we're going to lose all our territory on mid. Actually getting popped by that burn was kind of surprising. I didn't think we'd get caught slacking that hard. But yeah, we do end up managing to hold, which was pretty nice. And you'll see some reports here. I think this report was kind of mid, or we at least traded, I think, a little pretty bad on this one, actually. So guys, I don't know how we're gonna have to do a fight like this, and then we have Dark Seal right after. It's like, oh my gosh, we just had this big fight. All right, now we're going into Dark Seal. Let's let everybody kill their troops all over again. You know what I mean? So freaking amped for that, because like in a region like this, you're not gonna get like unless the matchmaking is just overall garbage, you're not gonna get an overall easy opponent, right? That's basically how it works. Also, you will see a lot of double rallies, I think. I'm not sure if in this video. It was BTW and ANCS kind of double rallying our tower on the top left corner near ruins or whatever a lot. And then after we cut off after we cut off BTW, Fox actually filled their shoes. And the thing is, we actually were even more incentivized to cut them off because Fox was building in a way that would give them all a chance to triple rally the tower. And it was really weird because there's like this tower that was kind of wacky placement, and they destroyed it, and it gave Fox just enough room to kind of fit in there. And then they would have three freaking alliances on the same corner of the tower. I was surprised I didn't even know you could do that. Like I thought you would have to at least connect from another angle, but they just all had it on one side and we were about to get smacked on that tower, so I'm freaking happy that we cut them off. Though I also will mention that even if they did double or triple rally, it's much harder for an alliance like BTW or Fox to trade really well, especially because we actually had one of our main garrison captains there because it was one of our kind of scariest towers, like defense wise, just because there could be a lot more pressure there. But we did have like one of our stronger captains there, and it's really hard for them to trade really well if their gear isn't up to date, because the thing is like, we have a lot of we have like for example, if Samuel was on it with his maybe supreme parts, it's just really hard to go into a tower like that if maybe you only have gold parts, right? That's basically how the whole scenario goes. And you kind of see here they actually swarmed one of these towers, which was surprising to me. I didn't think BTW was going to go for swarms, but they can't really maintain a lot of swarms, and that's the big issue that you'll see because in a bracket like this it's really hard to actually drop any towers without a swarm. Like a rally of course can do damage over a period of time, and it's still going to hurt, but obviously when you're facing an alliance with, let's say they have 100 million troops, right? It's going to be really hard to burn through that with just a rally on tower fight, because not only are you less likely to trade positive without swarms, and that's just generally how it is, because obviously swarms are going to be debuffing and all that, though it's not easy for everybody to swarm. But not only is that the case, it's just hard to drop that thing because they're able to keep it full 100% of the time, and especially if you have Peterson and the thing's just self-healing for so long, it's just super hard to drop, and it just takes so freaking long without like I said, swarms. And it's hard to put like a constant amount of heavy pressure, right? Like we could easily have maybe two people over there, or even just one person just solo filling the tower and keeping it maintained. Whereas if we're getting swarmed on the other side of the map, we have to focus down maybe 4 or 5 people, because sometimes people just can't solo fill a tower. Two people can't fill a tower by themselves if they're just getting heavy pressure. It just is how it is. Like these tower swarms are very necessary in a bracket like this, and when you can't do swarms like that, it just kills you. Also, this is BTW trying to connect to our flank, and we do manage to actually swarm this tower down just barely because they were putting a lot of pressure on the field there, but we were maintaining it on the tower. They didn't have Peterson there, or at least if they did, it was a support hero. But we did manage to drop that tower, thankfully, and we continued to pressure on towards their flank because we were actually worried about them connecting into too many towers on our flank. Not only is this bad overall because spreading like this is really hard, because obviously you're taking off people on like the front line to go defend the back line, and then we have to sacrifice a lot of our players. It's just it's just overall a pain. Like, you guys probably get the point, and we really had to make sure that we cut them off before they tried to cut off on our flank, and thankfully that is what we did, and we managed to hold on longer, probably due to that fact. And you'll see ANCS just launching more rallies and more freaking swarms, which is like the worst. But honestly, I don't mind swarms. It's good for T6 kills, and it's how I usually get all my points on my alts. And we do have point Rex here generally. We didn't actually have point Rex this event because there was no pressure on people actually participating. It was supposed to be just one where we went ham and we gave it our all. And you know what? That's what we did, I think. We sacrificed quite a few troops here, but I freaking had a blast, and I mean that's what matters, right? And I had a freaking good time, dude. This is one of my more favorable events that I've ever had, So I can't say I regret it at all, but I do wish I kept my troops. That being said, these swarms are freaking painful. Like, I don't know how we didn't trade positive more, and I think it might just be the new armaments. Those things have been hitting hard, like especially with these whales, because these whales have been pumping them. They've been pumping their freaking wallet like crazy, and it just makes these swarms painful. Like, if you don't have the armaments, I could tell like a very distinct difference. I think Envy hasn't been in. I don't know if Envy's been investing in his, because I've seen like some of his swarms, and I feel like his swarms have been like less painful compared to other whales, right? And I think like just the stat difference there is like has been kind of insane. And I mean, obviously you do have to spend a huge amount for those stats to really be there, but it does definitely does take effect. Like, I think when it comes to armaments, you really have to hit brick walls, like compared to parts, for example, right? Like, let's say you have to maybe it takes $100 to upgrade your part to purple, Well, if you want to maybe get a really useful armament that's gold and it only costs you $40 and it gives you the same, if not better stats, then maybe you should invest those $40 there instead of the $100 on maybe getting your part to purple. And then you can maybe just hit those paywalls and then you can bounce back and forth, for any, I guess, spenders or low spenders, whatever, that's something to kind of think about. And yeah, I mean, we get more swarms, more rallies. I think this one was a double rally. I didn't Yeah, I think it was just on the screen, but I wasn't really looking that well. This one we did not trade that well on. I mean, the swarms I think we traded well on. The rallies were just like not there, though the swarms are disgusting. Yeah, I mean, this was one of our better trades. I think we were just more focused on filling. I think the issue is we started spreading so thin that we would have like a lot of really bad swarm reports, or I wouldn't even say really bad. Like we still traded all right, but it wasn't as positive as I like, or it wasn't, just really, really good. And I think, like I said, it's just because we had to spread so thin that it made it so hard for us to keep things fully topped off. Whereas if you have maybe 20 people around a tower, maybe they're all filling with like 100k at 100k drop. Whereas like if I'm like solo filling a tower, I'm just sending my 200k marches whenever it drops 200k. And it just, obviously makes the whole trades overall worse because, if your thing's dropping to 1.3 million constantly and, it's doing damage to the enemy, then it's obviously going to be doing worse than maybe if your tower's only dropping to 1.4 million every once in a while and then you're keeping that thing fully topped off. I don't know, I just wanted to say that it was a little tough to trade really well in a lot of these tower fights. And you actually see here on this village we swarmed it, and obviously if we just rallied it, it would have taken too long. I don't think we had like a ton of wills on at the time to completely pressure this field. So if they came in numbers, this could have been really bad. But we do manage to take the village. I'm surprised they didn't try to block us off or actually build around the village to make sure that it didn't fully disconnect right away. We do get quite a few zeros here because of that, and I mean, it just is what it is, right? Like it's a part of the game. You get zeroed, and I think like alliances really got to do better. Like even our alliance, right? Like I feel this frustration all the time. Like I've had this in any game I play, any alliance I play with, but it's like why? I mean, I can understand oopsies happen sometimes, right? Like maybe someone passes out on the phone, or they just maybe you forget, which is, I mean, I don't forget, I always remember to pop my shields when I whenever I'm actually knowingly going off, because I've been zeroed once and this was a fault of my own, actually laying down in bed and not having shielded. Let me tell you guys, I do not laying down in bed anymore unless I'm shielded, because I play at my computer, right? And even if I'm not on my computer, I'm still sitting in my gaming chair on my phone, and I will not go to bed because I might pass out, and I'm not going to risk losing all my progress. I'll always be willing to sacrifice a few hundred gems for that 8-hour shield, that 12-hour shield, just because I'd rather not have to build all those troops back, and I'm not willing to risk it. No matter how much I believe in my alliance, no matter how much I think, maybe the enemy's all the way across the map, I'm not risking that. And I know anything can happen in an event, and you always have to make sure you're shielding offline, shielding when you sleep, and we are no exception. I feel like there were like 20 males during this event telling people to shield, and even at the end of the event, we still had like 10 plus people, I think, get zeroed because they just don't listen sometimes, and it's one of those things that's so frustrating, and I'm sure it is for a leader, and it was for me as well, because now we're over here having to maybe backtrack towers. We're trying our best to defend these players when, in all honesty, it is their fault. It is your fault if you're not able to shield. If you get zeroed, it's on you for not listening, for not just doing what you should. And it really ticks me off because, for example, I might lose a ton of troops on towers, and I honestly don't mind. But for many people, it's like annoying because why do I have to lose all my troops to save you from getting zeroed, right? Because you don't listen to instructions. Like I understand, like I said, there are times when you will lose your troops or you will get zeroed because, it just happens and it's not always your fault. But it's one of those things that's just so annoying. And I'm sure the same can be said about any alliance, right? Like if you're an alliance leader, especially, you understand the frustration, and it's like you feel at fault if your players get zeroed as well. It's so freaking annoying. That being said, we do have a lot of good reports here. I think this dude actually had been hit before, and I came in to finish him because someone forgot to actually finish zeroing this guy, and I scouted him because I thought we had zeroed everybody, but I look over and I'm like, Why is he not zeroed? I think somebody just forgot to finish off the job. So I mean, this dude can actually give me the middle finger because I kind of actually I'm the reason he just got screwed over because he was almost safe. He was almost safe because one of our players did an oopsie, but yeah. All right, and honestly, this video should be coming to an end soon. It is only like a minute or so of more battling left. I wouldn't even call it battling because all it is zeroing. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it to the video. I'm gonna end it off here, and yeah, I do appreciate you guys though as always, and I do hope you guys enjoyed the video as always. And it has been a pleasure. And I know I just ranted a bit this video, and hopefully it had some common ground with some of you guys, but I do appreciate you guys, like I said, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And that is it to this video. Peace.